You got it, Connor?
Yeah, dude.
Let's go.
Bet. Welcome,
Hey, everybody.
Boy.
I'm just going to do that no matter what.
That's in the podcast, bro.
I held in my breath, and I was like, I get to just say it as soon as someone else starts. Okay, now you can start. I'm sorry.
This is why people don't listen to our podcast.
This is good.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Hike the Y. I'm joined here by Brandon and Nate, as per usual. The sun is shining. The tank is clean. It's March, guys, and it is March Madness, and we have our lovely brackets before us. It is the best time of the year, and we are going to get underway. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about BYU's performance in the Big 12 tournament this last week. BYU, of course, wins against... Oh, I'm totally blanking, guys. It's been a long
Kansas
week.
State and then West Virginia.
There you go. Thank you, Brandon. Before losing to Houston in a close game. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on BYU's performance in the Big 12 tournament overall?
I just want to say BYU looks like a different team. We already kind of talked a little bit last week about some of the games that happened, especially namely West Virginia. I did like to see how BYU matched up against Houston. A lot of people are saying that Houston's going to go to the Final Four, win a championship, or even win the bracket. And so the fact that BYU was able to be leading at halftime against Houston, it really gives me high hopes for the high seed of 6. I think BYU should be a little bit lower, and we can talk about that a little bit later. But Houston's a number 2. People have them winning the bracket, and BYU was holding them on the ropes up until halftime. So I think it was a pretty good performance by BYU. The one thing I did want to see more was the ball in AJ DeBonce's hands. It seemed like the second half, AJ wasn't getting as many touches and he wasn't scoring as much. So I'm liking the improvement by the defense.
Yeah, I really love the effort. And overall, I'm just happy that we played well against a team that I think has great potential to make it to the Final Four. Mm-hmm. And if we can play well against them, I think we can play well against almost every team in this tournament. So, I feel like this is BYU's peak. Maybe not peak. I feel like with Richie Saunders, at some point in that season, they were really good against UConn early in the season. That might have been close to peak performance in that second half. But I'm not too disappointed with the BYU team that we've got going into this tournament. And I think if AJ DeBonsta plays the way that he's been playing and BYU gets some help from role players, we can at least make it to the second weekend. So, yeah, really excited about the tournament. Arizona did win the Big 12 tournament against Houston, and it was really fun.
That was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed watching the last couple of games in that one.
Yeah, I think going back real quick to BYU, I really thought, 3 games in 3 days, that's a tough workload. They were managing it well. You did see that kind of a bit of maybe fatigue with BYU having 18 turnovers in the game against Houston, but they shot the best three-point percentage that I can remember looking at in the last couple of weeks. They shot 47% on 8 of 17. Not a ton of threes, but the ones that they did shoot, about half of them went in, and I'll take that all day, honestly. And then again, as Brandon mentioned, Arizona does take it, win a classic against Iowa State in the semifinals, and before beating Houston in the final. That was a fun tournament to watch. I really liked watching. Every time I turned it on, it was and it got better when they took off that ugly LED court and replaced it with actual wood. And the players' performance shockingly got better too. So hopefully a lesson was learned there.
Yeah, and hopefully Christian Anderson, who got injured on the LED court, is okay, ready to go for the tournament for Texas Tech as well.
Yeah, we have a inside source who was able to interview Christian Anderson, and he has a groin injury, and he expects to play in the first round of March Madness. This is mouth-to-mouth interviewing from one of our dearest friends. And he our friend here who interviewed him, thinks he's unlikely to play because of his groin injury. But, I mean, I'd love to see him come in. We're actually going to have him come on the podcast in a couple of weeks.
Oh, excited for that.
He's got some inside information about a couple of key topics that affect the BYU world. So I'm excited to have him on in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, before we kind of get into the NCAA tournament, I just wanted to do a little intro, make this episode kind of fun.
Let's do it.
All right, so it's pretty simple. I feel like the two guys that BYU has relied on heavily for 3-point shooting,
Boop.
no, not Boop, have been Kennard Davis and Alexi Kostic, right?
Ooh,
Like
okay.
those two guys, that's who we're feeding the ball for 3-point shots. Like we're making plays for them to get open threes. Here's my question. Game on the line. You have the ball at the top of the key. Everyone's in the paint. This obviously wouldn't happen for real. But like you look to your left and you see Kennard Davis on the wing over there. Or in the corner,
on the left side. Yeah,
wherever he wants to be. You look to your right and Alexi Kostic is calling for the ball. They're both calling for the ball. And you got to pass it to one of them. Who are you passing the ball to for an open three to win the game? Alexi Kostic or Kennard Davis Jr.?
Fate of the universe is on the line.
Martians have a death beam
Sure,
pointed
yeah.
at Earth.
Give me
I want
Iguodala.
Iguodala. No, sorry, I had to do that. I was thinking that, but
Yeah, I was
that's
thinking
a
that
really
too.
good question. I think game on the line, a catch and shoot three. I really trust. I like what Kostic has been doing on the catch and shoot threes and his coming off a screen maybe. They've been drawing up some nice plays and he's gotten some threes. He doesn't usually take a dribble before the ones that I've seen him shoot, so I'd go Kostic.
Okay. What are you thinking, Nate?
I like Kostic and I also like Moo Davis. Don't get me wrong.
Are you just pulling it?
Nate would pull it and just shoot it from the top from the logo.
I'm saying Moo Davis, I don't know. He's a little inconsistent when it comes to threes. When he's hot, he's hot. And I love to see him. He had a 20-point game the other night. I think he's phenomenal shooting from beyond the arc. I also love Kostic in the catch and three situation. But do you know who I don't want to take? I would want to take Rob Wright III.
Okay.
I think he's one player that we don't necessarily give enough love to from shooting beyond the arc. But I think Rob Wright, in this sense,
Just taking a non-option then, huh?
yeah,
Just
creating
thinking
a third
outside the
option.
box.
coming. I like seeing Rob Wright. There's 5 seconds left in the game. Rob Wright needs to make a buzzer beater. I like him running down the court, just chucking up a prayer and splashing it. We've seen him do it earlier in the season. We've also seen him choke earlier in the season. But I want the ball in the hands of who I think is going to be a clutch player who's going to step up. I don't think it's going to be AJ. I don't think it's going to be Kostic. Maybe Moo. I love my boy Rob Wright III, who I would have as my roommate. So
That's actually like going. That's a hot take that you'd want it in Rob's hands. I think that I would definitely want it in AJ's hands. I feel like you'd either have to bring a double team to him, or let him go one-on-one. I trust him in that scenario. But I would go to Davis. I feel like the last couple games
fair
he has
too,
been
yeah.
hot. I think he was 4 for 5 from 3 against Houston. Is that right, against Houston?
Yeah.
Or am I thinking against West Virginia?
No.
I can look it up.
Against recently he was 4 for 5 from 3. There was at one point in the game he took a crazy step back. He like pump faked, dribbled left, took a step back, got it to go. And I was like, you know what? Moo Davis is finally in his rhythm from 3. And like you were saying before, when he's hot, he's hot. Sometimes it takes him a little while to warm up, but I love when he splashes that first 3 of the game. I'm like, oh, okay, finally. Like now I can actually like expect it to go in when he shoots it.
It's like a tension
Yeah.
release. Mhm.
It's like, okay, he finally made one. Now he can see some others go down. So that late in the game, I'm going to trust that he's made a bucket, and I'm going to trust him to hit the game-winning 3.
yeah,
That's a good point. He was 5 for 6 from 3-point range for 20 points against West Virginia. So shout
That's
out
awesome.
Moo Davis.
yeah. I'd like to agree. I'm just trying to think of like AJ or like scenarios in March Madness, and like shooting a 3 is definitely one of them. But another one is going full court. You need to get 2 points to send it in overtime. And I love Rob Wright. He's quick. He's got ice in his veins. If he's shooting a 3 or taking it in for a layup, I like his shiftiness. But he definitely has had a couple of games this year where we would have won if he could have made a shot. We saw that against Arizona.
You know what I don't want? I don't want AJ taking another step-back 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen that too many times.
without
Like,
that.
AJ, come on, it's not your
I
shot.
can live without that.
But, yeah.
He can practice it.
Oh.
I mean, kid's 19. He can get that shot.
Yeah.
It's just not right now. It's not the selection that I think. Game on the line. That's not where we should be going.
We'll see it next season for BYU.
Hopefully. Well, that would be awesome.
He's
yeah.
not coming back, bro. I've been saying
No,
it.
he's coming back. I'm
He's
telling
coming
you.
back. I'm telling you.
Mom wants me to graduate. Okay. Online school exists.
I mean, like 2 years, that's your associate's degree. Like,
They
hey,
get a degree.
Like-
Go back one more year.
come back. Like, you got almost a guaranteed first number 1 pick in the draft next year.
Yeah.
Like,
He said he wants to be a number 1 pick. So, I don't know. Everyone.
I think there's more of a chance than I thought, like, when I first read it. So,
But
yeah.
do you know what's better?
We will see.
That this week we have March Madness.
Oh yeah. Get the
So,
celebration
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
going.
Put it up.
Oh, wait.
Not the crickets. There you go. Yeah.
Woohoo! Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. It's the first time. We've got March Madness this week, and we're going to talk a couple of games that we think are pretty interesting for the first round. If I could, I want to start us off.
Do it.
The first game that I think is going to be pretty interesting is coming from the East. And I want number 7 UCLA beating number 10 UCF. And then I also like UCLA beating the winner of UConn and Furman. I think this UCLA team has what it takes to get into the Sweet 16 and maybe even the Elite 8. They've got a pretty lighter schedule. I'm not saying UCF is a light team, but watching UCF play against Cincinnati, UCF definitely has the size advantage over UCLA. But UCLA has the shooting. They have the guards. They have the kind of drive and experience that this UCF team doesn't have. I did say a couple weeks ago on the podcast that I would take any Big 12 team over another team, but UCLA is definitely an exception that I want to make. I definitely think that there are a plethora of other teams from the Big 12 that are going to make some runs and will get wins first round, but I just see UCF going home after the first weekend. So give me UCLA winning first round over UCF and then maybe even over UConn. I'm not saying that UConn is going to win in that matchup, UConn and Furman. Furman has surprised us before, but I would like to see UConn and UCLA go at it, and I would like to see UCLA come out on top. So that is one of my first hot takes from the first round.
I like it.
Okay.
I like that hot take. I don't know. UCLA is my team. That's the 7 seed that's going to the Sweet 16. They're taking down the 2. I don't think UConn's as strong as they've been all season, so I really like that take. All right, I have a couple of games I'm interested in. One of the ones I'm really excited for is St. Louis versus Georgia.
That will be a good one.
Because there's lots of people who, including myself, are very jealous of the SEC because they have football. The SEC is the best conference of football, and I think we can all admit that. But I feel like the SEC is starting to become the best conference in basketball.
Really?
And I'm really hoping the Big 12 can come through in this tournament and get some teams to the Final Four and prove that the Big 12 is where it's at. I think the SEC is maybe a little bit more deep than the Big 12, and the Big 12 is more top-heavy. Mm-hmm. But I do love the SEC. I love how SEC teams play, and it's always like so hard to knock them out. So you got Georgia on one hand, and then St. Louis, who is not a Power 4 conference team, but they're one of the best shooting teams in the country. Mm-hmm. They have Robbie Avila, who, if you haven't heard his name, go watch some highlights on YouTube because he's sort of like a Nikola Jokic. He can do it all. And I'm just really excited to see how this St. Louis team plays against a Power 4 team that's tough and does all that stuff. And I have St. Louis with the upset.
Yeah,
so
I do. Actually, I do
Let's
too.
go.
Really? 3
I
for
actually
3.
do. I need to double check which bracket I put it on, but in one of the ones that I've done for one of the challenges, I have St. Louis. I need to check that better.
I'm saying in all of my brackets and my main bracket, I've got Iowa State. They definitely don't have any quad one. They don't have any wins over any
You have
top.
Iowa
25.
State?
St. Louis.
I mean St. Louis. Did I say Iowa State?
You said Iowa State. I was like, what
okay,
kind of
we're
quad
moving on
ones?
pretty
All
quick.
right.
I do have Iowa State. Anyways, St. Louis, they don't have any quad one, or they don't have any top 25 wins, but they do surprisingly have a better net ranking than Georgia. They also have just a better, they allow their opponents to score only 69 points in a game, which is surprising because Georgia, they get about 90 points in a game. So this just shows that the St. Louis team has the defense to stop Georgia. St. Louis also gets about 87.2 points in a game offensively, and I like how they shoot from beyond the arc. This St. Louis team just reeks of upset potential, and so 57% of the
It feels like the Florida Atlantic team from a couple years ago that went all the way to the Final Four.
That's a good comparison. I like that comparison.
Yeah,
St. Louis, yeah, bank on it, bro.
57% of the country right now is taking Georgia, but that 57% is not going to have a perfect bracket, and they're going to be depressed. So
neither is the other 43%, but that's all right.
I am.
All right, moving on. The game that really intrigued me, that when I even from the very beginning, well, there's a couple. Number one was I really am interested in Kentucky Santa Clara.
Oh,
Santa Clara has been playing with their hair on fire. They went toe to toe with the Zags in the West Coast Conference Championship game after taking down St. Mary's in the semifinal. They're coaching. I don't remember his name, but they know what they want to be and they know what they want to do, and they've come here to win a game, and I think that they do that. I have Santa Clara beating Kentucky in the first round Friday morning. I've seen Kentucky. They played. They're not a bad team. I think a 7 is a very fair team, very fair seed for them this year. But I just don't see them progressing anywhere out of that. I think that Santa Clara comes in here hungry, comes in here shooting very hot. I mean, they went toe to toe. Everybody, all the announcers in the St. Mary's game were saying they're just shocked. They're just happy to be here. But when they got on that court, they were not happy to be there. They were trying to prove something, and they did prove it. And I'm very excited for that game, actually.
Yeah, I love this Santa Clara team, like you're saying, like they went toe-to-toe with Gonzaga. And then I also just don't trust Kentucky at all. Their best win all season
That's also true.
is against Vanderbilt at home, which is a good win. But then they have so many losses to other good teams. I feel like they just haven't been reliable at all season. And when a team is just better than them, they're just better. And they do have some guys, Ortega Owe,
yeah.
He is a dog.
He's a dog.
I love how he plays, but he can't just carry this team. And I'm also going to bring up a point that's like a little sad for BYU fans, but like Mark Pope doesn't have a great tournament resume. Like he just doesn't get the wins. So I agree with you. I think Santa Clara is going to win this. And I just think that WCC teams and then teams from the Mountain West, because like you never see them in football, you never, like most teams don't play against them in basketball that you're following.
Yeah.
They're so underrated, and they can really bust some brackets in March.
They can. Santa Clara and St. Mary's on the other side of the bracket, for that matter, are definitely bracket busters. And I'd say, Santa Clara wins against Kentucky, and I think they can keep it within 10 or 15 against Iowa State. Like that's not if those two teams do meet up, that don't write off Santa Clara. I think they can keep it within 10. Honestly.
Yeah.
I do want to play devil's advocate really quick. This is one of these like matchups that I was kind of going back and forth. I do like Kentucky. I watched a couple of Kentucky games. Santa Clara, I mean, it's a tough one. I'm going 50-50. You know what? My mind might change in like a couple hours. Just looking back at the last 5 games from each team, Santa Clara is coming off of a 3-game win streak, losing to Gonzaga. But they beat Pacific, beat Washington State, beat Seattle. They had a pretty good run in their tournament. When you look at Kentucky, lost to Auburn by 1, lost to Georgia, lost to Florida. Kentucky just reeks of a team that's going
not very good.
Yeah, that's not very good. But
Nate likes the word reek today.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I feel like they're gonna lock in. Just like from what I've seen. Oh. There's this one post that I saw that gave me chills, and it was Mark Pope, and he told like usually teams have like a bunch of press come on Selection Sunday and film the players and their reactions, and then there's like a press conference. There was no press invited to Kentucky. I think Mark Pope is a little upset at some of the performances that have happened in the last couple of days, and I think some of the players are a little upset of how they've performed. I could see Ortega Owe just popping off in this game. Santa Clara does have Christian Hammond, who averages about 16 points in a game. I just don't think they have what it takes to beat Ortega Owe. So But they match up pretty well on the three, like shooting from beyond the arc. And Santa Clara's actually better shooting field goal percentages. So, I mean, it looks like Santa Clara could win. I feel like the upset would be Kentucky winning. That's kind of what it feels like. Santa Clara looks like the better team. The upset feels like Kentucky wins.
Yeah, I feel like it feels more like an 8-9 game than
Definitely.
a 10-7 game. But yeah, that'll definitely be a fun one to watch. Another one that I have that I think everyone is going to have their eyes on because it's at 10:40 a.m. So I think it's going to be the first or second game. I think it's the second game on Friday, is Texas Tech versus Akron.
Oosh, I was going to point that
Because-
one out too, actually.
Akron, they've only lost one game since January 1st, and Texas Tech is coming off a devastating injury to JT Toppin. They lost really badly to Iowa State in the Big 12 tournament. Christian Anderson, if he plays, which I believe he will, is going to be playing limited with his groin injury. I still have Texas Tech in this game because I think the star power of Christian Anderson and Donovan Atwell and guys like that who can really shoot are going to be able to carry this team past Akron. But I don't know. Like, Akron is a good team. This is a really fun 12-5 matchup, and there's usually at least one 12-5 matchup that is an upset.
Yeah, you
so
gotta
this
look
could
out.
definitely be it.
You got to look out for this one. This is 12-5 is statistically that's the most probable upset of any. But this is like definitely two teams that are trending in the opposite directions. Where Akron is on a tear, running through the MAC tournament, and then Texas Tech is just since the injuries and the injury bug kind of bit them a little bit. They've been kind of reeling a little bit. So that will be an interesting game. I still don't know who I'm going to take in that game yet.
I do. I have Akron. And the reason I have Akron is because they're shooting well beyond the arc. They're not shooting as good as Texas Tech. Texas Tech has some sharp shooters, right? JT Toppin is out, and that's something that plays in my consideration. But I'm liking Akron because they're 20th in the nation for shooting from beyond the arc. And free throw and field goal percentage, they're 9th in the nation compared to Texas Tech, who's 85th. I just like how Akron takes care of the ball. They get to the hoop, and they make baskets in kind of situations where they need to score. I've watched this Akron team play once or twice, and every time I see them take care of the basketball, it looks like they're tossing around a baby. They're making sure that they're not turning the ball over, and they're giving they're not giving extra possessions to the other team. However,
Oh, go ahead.
they also are in a pretty. They're not playing anyone good like Texas Tech.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Texas Tech is the best team, but Texas Tech is pretty battle worn. They're played
still good.
a lot of good teams. They played Iowa State. They played BYU. They played Arizona. You know, they beat Iowa State. They also lost to Iowa State. They beat Arizona in overtime. Like, there's a couple of times where Texas Tech has been able to pop off. So I do like Akron, but it wouldn't surprise me if Texas Tech comes away from a win in this game.
Yeah, I will say Akron caught a just massive break with JT Toppin being injured because they are the smallest team in the field. And JT Toppin is one of the best big men in the country.
Yeah.
Although, if you remember back a couple years ago, FDU, when they upset number 1 seed Purdue, they were also the smallest team in the field.
Against Zach
So,
Edey.
yeah, you can have some quick guys who can go to and fro, but I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game with a bunch of threes going up because neither team really has a great big man. And so, yeah, this is definitely a game to get up early for if you usually sleep in really, really late and watch.
Amen, dude. Amen.
Amen.
That's on Friday, you said, right?
Yeah, first
Well,
game
that's
on
spring.
Friday.
That's spring day here on BYU campus. So
Yeah.
that's an important announcement from Brandon. Get up early to watch March Madness.
Get up and watch March Madness. There's nothing else I'd rather say.
Amen.
Does anyone have any other games? I have one game that I want to share.
Go ahead. I think I've got one more too.
Let me share the matchup analysis of St. Mary's and Texas A&M. I just want to ask first, boys,
Ooh.
who do you guys have? St. Mary's or Texas
I have
A&M?
St. Mary's in this game.
I do have St. Mary's in
Honestly,
this
I
game.
haven't watched any Texas A&M games, so I just read about them. But St. Mary's has a very balanced team, and I feel like they always get like one win in the tournament. So I'm and I'm also a little biased because I love the WCC, so I went with St. Mary's here.
Yeah, so Texas A&M, they're coming off of 3 straight losses: Vanderbilt, Missouri, Florida. Or no, they only come off of 1 loss. I'm sorry, I read that backwards. They lost to Oklahoma, but before that, they beat LSU and Kentucky. They lost to some pretty good teams like what I mentioned earlier: Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Florida. They're 21-11. It kind of feels like a BYU team because BYU's only 22-10, right? So it's feeling like this BYU team. St. Mary's, they're 27-5, but whenever I look at matchups, they're winning some pretty close games to some pretty all right teams, but then they're also winning against some pretty tougher teams. I'm liking that they beat Gonzaga 70-59. I think the St. Mary's team is kind of on upset watch right now, but I do see St. Mary's coming away with a victory.
Yeah, it was interesting that you said Texas A&M kind of reminded you of BYU, because I was thinking about the same thing for St. Mary's, just in the way that St. Mary's, it kind of feels like they play up and down to their opponent, and BYU does the same.
That is a good point.
I'm excited for this one. This should be a really fun matchup.
The fun thing about March Madness is if you forget
never
about
know.
the bracket, there's so many crazy things that could happen. Like, I would love to see Texas Tech lose first round. I'm a big Big 12 guy. I support the Big 12. I'd want Texas Tech to beat Akron, but sometimes it's just like, come on, Akron, you can do it. Like, just imagine Akron and Hofstra both beating Alabama and Texas Tech. Like, that just gives me hope. It makes me happy, right? When you forget about all the brackets and like making sure that you win and the parlays, and you just focus on Texas Tech and Alabama.
What parlays are you talking about?
I'm not a betting person. Other people,
not listeners of this podcast either. Hopefully, just kidding.
But I'm just saying.
Put $1,000 in Hofstra, everyone.
I'm like,
I guarantee it.
I like Hofstra. Like, Hofstra would be such a cool
I'm just kidding.
team
Actually,
to
I
win.
think Alabama's winning, but don't do that.
I know, but I'm just saying it'd be cool to see like a team like Hofstra win.
Would you want to see like a 16-1 upset?
Dude,
I would love that.
any day. I'd
That's
love to
always
see
welcome.
a 215.
Until BYU's the 1 seed, that's always welcome.
If it was your tournament winner, like let's say you got
happened to me.
Duke, and would you want
Yeah.
to see a 115 or a 116?
I chose
upset?
Purdue.
Oh,
I chose Purdue, and
Fairleigh Dickinson beat them.
and I was watching Fairleigh Dickinson. I was cheering for Dickinson because I wanted them to beat Purdue. Sometimes it's just like, come on, you got it.
It's that moment when you can't, when your bracket like just collapses and you just start cheering for chaos. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's what I think. If a 16 seed has a chance to beat any of these 1 seeds, I will be in their corner as well.
I was
Yeah.
actually very happy about the Purdue loss because I did have them losing second round.
Yeah.
So I was just
Not too
glad.
bad.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Boys, do you guys have any, like, if there was going to be a number 1 and a number 16 upset or a 215,
If it was gonna happen.
if it was going to happen, like one team had to lose and it had to be a 116 matchup or a 215, which 116 and which 215 would you take? I already have mine.
Or 215.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna look at the 115s.
My
Is it
215
UConn Furman?
My
what you're
215 is Purdue and Queens.
Ooh.
Queens, I haven't watched the game. I've just been watching highlights. Queens has a couple of players who are just phenomenal from shooting from beyond the arc. And I keep saying that. But all these mid-major teams, it seems like they just shoot lights out from 3. And that's why upsets happen so often in March Madness, because a team like Queens just gets hot from beyond the arc. Queens also has 5 seniors that come off the bench or start, and they just show up in big-time wins. So Queens, they had a phenomenal season. I didn't watch a single game. I didn't even really know they existed until this tournament, and I started doing homework. But I'm like, I just see them lose. I see Purdue losing to Queens. If I had to, I'm going to take Purdue, but I'd like to see Queens win.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
I have. Well, if I had to pick one, I'd take Furman over UConn. We were already kind of talking about how like UConn doesn't seem as strong. Like maybe UCLA could get the upset in the second round. But I also feel like Furman is a decent team, mostly because they had most of their starter, or not most of their starters. Wow, they had a couple of key players out for a lot of the season. and they were all kind of able to come back and put it together for a run through their conference tournament. And so I think they're probably better than a 15 seed. And I think they're going to have trouble down low with Terrace Reed. They're going to have trouble guarding the elite guards of UConn. But if anything can happen in March. And that's my favorite part about March.
Yep.
March Madness.
Anything's possible.
And like you see, like you'd never pick a 2-15 upset, but you see it a decent amount of the time. And so it's just fun. It's awesome.
It happens as of recent. Like
Yeah.
like when you still look
I'd
at
say,
the statistics.
if you take 5 years and like in a 5-year span, one or two
One
times,
of them, it'll happen at
like
least
you're going to
once.
have a 2-15 or a 1-16 upset, which is awesome.
Interesting.
So shout out to the people who select. Like there's always this team where it's like my grandson plays for Queens and I'm going to take him all the way, and you're just like, okay, whatever. Like
Okay.
yeah, they're the 1% that chose Queens. But sometimes it's like there's some people out there who are like, yeah, Queens is gonna lose, and then they have like almost a
Queens is
perfect
gonna
bracket,
win?
and I'm like, or yeah, Queens wins, and they almost have a perfect bracket. I'm like, how did you know that? Who told you?
Yeah.
You know, it's just
What's your insider information?
crazy?
Who's got the script?
So script.
'Kay.
I'd say my team. I don't know. I don't think it happens, but Houston, Idaho. I don't think it happens, but you're talking potential, right? It's the same kind of
Yeah.
speculation on this. They made a huge run through their tournament to win the Big Sky to even be here. They're playing with house money and they know it. And I can see Houston, having an off day offensively, and Idaho just being able to take advantage of that. I have no further intel on Idaho than that. I watched them play in the Big Sky Championship, and that win was really impressive. That's all that I'm working on, really. It just maybe like you get here and you're in a little bit of a better situation because Houston had to play so many tough teams in a row in their conference tournament compared to the level of competition that Idaho was facing. We talk about that as being like a negative factor, but in an upset, that could be one of the reasons that one of those could happen.
Yeah, that could end up just
could
being
be a
like a
funner game
super
than
low
people think.
scoring, like close game. Because, like you said, Houston could just go cold from
Defensively,
the field.
defensively, Houston is amazing, but
Yeah.
offensively, you can't rely on them 100% of the time.
Yeah, it could be the lowest scoring game in the first round. I'd say that's a choice for that. I kind of lost my words there.
That's okay. We understood.
All right, I want to talk about just one more game. TCU versus Ohio State.
Ooh.
Very first game of the tournament, a 9-8
Dude.
game. TCU's been hot. Ohio State's been hot. They both have really good teams. Who do you have in this one?
I want to choose TCU. I really do. I also love Ohio State. The reason I want Ohio State is because they absolutely dominate TCU when it comes to shooting threes and their field goal percentage. Ohio State is number 19 in the nation compared to TCU, who's 201. Ohio State is 62nd from shooting beyond the arc. TCU is 229th. Ohio State is 19th in free throws. TCU is 238. Like every single time, like I look at this matchup, I'm like, Big 12. I said on the podcast, choose Big 12 teams. They're going to make some big plays. But then it just seems like, because I also loved Ohio State, and I was hoping Ohio State could be going up against a different seed. And so
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna be a little bit of a traitor, but I'm loving Ohio State to beat TCU, and that's why.
I have a gut feeling that Ohio State's going to win this game. I just love TCU's ball movement. I feel like they get to their spots really well. They have a good defense. I have TCU winning this game. This is my hardest pick of the first round. But
This your hardest?
yeah,
Dang.
I think this is my hardest
I
pick
might
of the
have
first
harder
round.
ones in the first round than this one.
This is tough. I do have TCU winning. I'm hoping they can pull it off. Yeah,
Yeah, I
go
think-
Big 12.
I think TCU can do it. They're a very capable team, and I mean, you look at like the competition and who they've played. Ohio State has played 16 quad one games in the net rankings,
And they've like lost super close. Like they have a lot of losses, but all of these losses are like 4 points to Virginia, 4 points to Michigan, who's a 1 seed, 4 points to Michigan State, who is amazing. So like Yeah, they're in it every game.
Yeah, they are in it. I just think it's that ability to, when you lose like 4 games that close, that's something. But they've lost 11 quad 1 games. So I just think they don't have the ability to close out those close games against good teams. And I think TCU, I have no other reason to think that they could do better. But gut feeling does say TCU for me. And I think the TCU, they're the 9, but I think they're going to play with some swagger and defensively be able to win this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
The other problem that I have is I chose all 9 seeds. I filled out like an initial bracket, like an initial reaction, and my first initial bracket was all 9 seeds winning, which is statistically impossible. Well, it's not statistically impossible.
Statistically impossible.
But
statistically possible.
If you look at it on paper, it doesn't look that good. So, but don't worry, guys. I just want to say I stand on business. I only have one bracket. I do like to have other for fun brackets, but I always have my main bracket, and that's where I put my emotion into. So,
I'm not trying to hate on anyone listening to the podcast, but if I hear you saying, "Oh, I had that upset in one of my brackets," and all my respect for you goes out the window.
Any idiot can put like the alternate universe of anything. Like,
yeah.
You have to stand on one. Stand on one bracket.
In my main bracket.
Make like 50, but stand on one.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think just to wrap up, we want to talk about BYU's matchups. BYU was blessed, I think, with a 6 seed, and I'll tell you why in a second. They're going to play the winner of NC State and Texas, which we will find out who that winner is tonight. Yeah, tonight. So, BYU, I think being a 6 seed is the best thing that possibly could have happened. Because when it comes to being a 5 seed, 5 and 12 seed matchups, you're going to play a team like High Point, Akron, McNeese, and Northern Iowa. I mean, maybe Northern Iowa, but sometimes these 12 seeds, they're dangerous. And I'm liking BYU. I love AJ DeBonsa. I'm loving their energy, everything that they've been saying recently in like media press, like saying to media in press conferences. I'm liking BYU's energy going into March. They're actually currently in Portland. They posted a picture about an hour ago of them working out and getting ready. And so I'm liking BYU winning first round over NC State or Texas. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, if BYU can, it's so hard because like you can ask for matchups in like the first round. Like, oh, it'd be so nice to be a 5 seed. Then I can have this sick matchup in the first round against this 12 seed that's not very good. But once you get to the second round, or sometimes it takes even to the Sweet 16, every team is good. So like hunting matchups isn't necessarily great, but I'm not super happy about it, to be honest. I really hope NC State wins tonight. I think Texas is a big team. They play a lot inside, and BYU hasn't been able to defend that very well, and so I'm hoping NC State gets the dub. I don't love how BYU has to play a first 4 team because sometimes they can get momentum. But I'm hoping BYU can get this win. If they don't, I do have BYU losing in the second round to Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga's size is too much for BYU to handle. But I'm hoping I'm wrong, and I'm hoping BYU can have a second straight year in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I definitely love us in this first round matchup. I think we are a better team against either of them. Again, I'm with Brendan. The first 4, I'm not loving it because they have that time to play. It's been a while since they've played these 2 teams respectively. So I don't love the fact that they get the same amount of time off that we do. So there's not really an advantage of us not playing right now and them playing right now. Mm-hmm. So I think definitely that's something to watch out for. And they both are in the power conferences. SEC not as deep as the ACC, I'd say. I think NC State's played some harder games, but they haven't really performed any better. They've performed against the same kind of competition. Their performance has been around the same.
Yeah, and NC State's they've only won 2 of their last 9 games.
Yeah, NC State's gone a little.
They're not hot right
cold,
now.
So I do think we can win the first round no matter who it's against. It might be a little closer. I think I saw one of the ESPN analysts that said like 83-77, and I like that ballpark of about a 6-point win. And then I do think second round, I think Gonzaga, if there's no crazy upset there with Kennesaw State.
Hey, we're rooting for Kennesaw State.
State.
I would love a Kennesaw State win.
Come through. But no, I think, Gonzaga does win that game, and then I don't think that we have enough to be able to handle Gonzaga, especially in the paint. That's where we've been trying to win games lately, but we kind of got tripped up against Houston with a little bit of a taller team and less success in the paint. So I think that's something to watch out for.
I'm going to be a little biased here for a second. Surprise, surprise. I like BYU going to the Elite Eight, and here's why. Here's kind of what this is all speculation, right?
Hey,
That's
I would love an Elite
All of
Eight.
March Madness is speculation, though.
Yeah.
Until it
Let's be
actually
honest.
happens.
Kennesaw State, hopefully they win, right? It's probably going to be Gonzaga. BYU versus Gonzaga, if BYU is able to get past them, I'm not saying that that's going to be an easy matchup, but if BYU beats Gonzaga, I like who they match up with against Purdue. I was saying earlier that Purdue's a pretty weak 2 seed and could potentially lose to Queens in a crazy alternate universe type activity.
Yeah.
But I like BYU's matchup against Purdue. I don't think Purdue has the kind of defense to match up against AJ DeBonsa and Rob Wright and a bunch of fill in the blank, Kostic or Boop or whoever shows up that game.
They're not going to have to worry about Boop on defense. I'm just going to – I love Boop. I love him.
Diomande.
We have
I
to
don't
be
know.
realistic to a point, yeah.
But I'm just saying, I'm liking how BYU matches up against Purdue. I'm saying the hardest matchup that they might have is Gonzaga, even though Gonzaga's a number 3 seed.
I like your point.
I'm not
I
saying
understand that, yeah.
that they're guaranteed to beat Gonzaga, but if they get past Gonzaga, I like who they play next, and that's Purdue. Then they play Arizona.
Potentially
and that's,
Purdue.
Yeah, potentially. Allegedly.
I will say
Allegedly.
Purdue did just win the Big 12 tournament.
Over Michigan.
Or not
Big
the
10.
Big 10 tournament.
Over Michigan, yeah.
So, like, we could be hating on Purdue, and they could go all the way.
Yeah. And you know what? It's just speculation. So, guys, super excited for March Madness.
Guys, it's here. It's here. The first game actually is starting right now.
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
4.
Oh.
UMBC is playing Howard as we're recording this at 5:04 on Tuesday.
There's no universe where I'm watching UMBC go up against Howard, except for in March Madness.
March Madness.
Because it matters. And it's awesome.
And it's whoever wins this game plays Michigan, right? Like,
Yeah.
Hey, man, UMBC, watch out for
Hey,
UMBC.
yeah, you don't want to have history repeat itself.
Watch out for Howard.
All right, then, if you say so.
Didn't Howard just lose like by 40 last year in March Madness or something?
Yeah, I think something
So,
like that. Anyway.
hey, Howard's to worry about. That's fair.
Anyways, guys, thanks for listening to the podcast. Go follow us on Instagram, Hike the Y. We've been posting
And on YouTube.
some fire edits. Go follow us on YouTube. We've been posting some YouTube shorts.
Listen to the podcast.
And go listen to the
Hey,
podcast
go ahead.
on
Go
Spotify.
go check us out on Amazon Music. We're now on Amazon Music. So
Yeah.
if you're
Clutch.
like, I want to listen to this podcast more, but I just Spotify, I can't.
Yeah.
Amazon Music, and we're trying on Apple Music too. So
And guys, if you want to support us, just drop a follow on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. It helps us out a lot. The algorithms will help us like reach more people. So if you like this, share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors, share it with your best friends,
share it with your enemies.
family. Yeah, share it
Because
with your
enemies need love
Yeah.
too.
Share it with people who are going to pick
Nothing brings
Texas
people
Tech over
together like
Akron.
sports.
Yeah. So thanks for listening to the podcast, guys. Go Dogs. Sick 'em.
Sick 'em.